Hi everybody, this is Paul over at Bacon Logic Media. Bacon Logic Media, something like that. There we go. We're going to have another hack at doing Manny Geekmans comic book text effect. He did it in Photoshop. I'm going to try and doing it in Illustrator. So here I have, I'll just start a new one. No, I'm going to make a new text. Call it comic text. And you can get all of his info in the link below. I'm using CS6 today because that's what I have. First thing I'm going to do is make a color. Make my background color. It's going to be that lighter blue. I'm just going to pick this light blue here. I'm going to select my rectangle. I'm going to cut, paste in place. I should have a second rectangle. I'm going to give that one a gradient. Now my gradient here is ready to go. So linear gradient. It has to be black and white for this trick to work. I'm going to go up to Effect. I'm going to go here to Pixelate, and I'm going to make a color halftone. Color halftone of a black and white object. I'm going to knock this down to 25. I'm going to leave all my angles at 90. And if it works properly, and it should, you get a glowing text effect like such. To make it a true vector object, though, I'm going to go up to my object. I'm going to expand the appearance like so, and it'll take a minute because things. Oh wait, I'm going to image trace it, and there we go. It takes a minute or three. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing, can you? No, you can't. Let's go back over here. I got to do these steps over again, so let's go back. My mistake. I'm sorry. I started a new document, 8.5 by 11 in RGB. Let's start over. I'm going to take this. I'm going to put this over here like that with my light blue. And you can either cut and paste it into place, or you can make a second one like so. I'm going to add a radial gradient in black and white. Okay, I'm going to go up to my effects. I'm going to pick Pixelate and Color Halftone. And maximum radius is 25. I'm going to leave all my channels at 90. I hit OK. You wait a minute or two. You get your halftone effect, like so. Let me call up Mr. Geekmans. Yeah, so we're on our way. Okay, so the next thing I want to do with this is I'm going to expand the appearance on it, and then I'm going to hit Image Trace. For Image Trace settings, I want a black and white logo. Boom. You will get a dialog like this. It's on my other screen. I'm sorry. It might take some time to do this. You know what? I always know that. I just hit OK, and I wait a minute. And wait for it to refresh. And stuff like this, sometimes it takes a while. Alrighty. And then I'm going to take my result and I want to expand it. And now everything in here is a proper vector. I'm going to select this white area here that I'm no longer going to need. I'm going to select same fill color, and I'm going to delete it. Delete key. Boom. Then I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to select the black. It should be all black. I'm going to select that darker blue. And I have a darker blue. I'm going to make it even darker. So I'm going to go to my palette. I'm just going to just get a darker blue. Somewhere in there should work. Much better. Let's go back to our reference, Mr. Geekman. Let's do this explosion over here. For my explosion, I think I'm going to just use a ellipse tool or star tool. I can use a star tool. Why not? Let's use a star tool today. I'm going to throw it somewhere in the middle of my page. I'm going to give it 15 points. I'm going to leave these radiuses as they are, 34.72. Let's just round that up to 35. And radius 2, we'll round that up to 0.7, 0.34, like that, 0.35, and 0.7, 15 points. Let's see what we get. That'll work fine. Let's take it. I'm going to make it roughly the color that we're going to be looking at in a little bit. Back to my palette. Let's get bigger. I would love for that to be bigger. Yes, thank you. And a lightish blue. And we'll make it transparent in a minute. But first, we're going to bring this up, up, bigger, bigger, bigger. You know what? I'm going to cut that. I'm going to make another layer. Let the star. Layer 1 is going to be background. On my star layer, I'm going to paste my star back in. I'm going to lock my background, and I'm going to turn it off for the time being. I like to be able to see what I'm doing. So here's my star. I'm going to warp it with an effect. So warp. We want this to actually do a distort and transform first. We're going to pucker and bloat it just a little bit. We'll see what we get. If the dialog box comes up, there's my dialog box on my other screen. So let's see, if we bloat it, it's going to go fatter, right? Yep. If we pucker it, it's going to start sucking in, like so, to the point where it's a little crazy. So we need to do just a little bit of puckering. If I go too crazy, you get something like that. But I think 10%. 10% looks okay. Looks a little bit more swirly. Let's try a different effect. Let's add another effect to it. Let's do. What was I gonna do? Oh, geez. Let's do. Let's expand the appearance. Object expand appearance. So this way the effect is permanent. I'll do another pucker and bloat. Do it twice. And this time I'll really amp it up. There we go. That looks a little too much. I don't like the way the stars pop out that far. I'm going to start over. I'm going to use 25 points. I'm going to close in that radius. Instead of 0.7, I'm going to use 0.5. I'll give it a little bit more area. There we go. And I'm just going to go back up here. I'm going to use that same pucker and bloat. I'm going to drop it back down to 10-ish. Maybe 11. That'll work. So it's a similar effect. Back up to object, expand appearance. So that's looking similar to what we had before. Similar, not the same. If I spent some more time, I can probably get it to be the same. I want to go to my appearance palette here, and this is where the fun stuff happens. So the first thing I'm going to do, let's go back to our center. Okay, so it's got a thick black stroke, and it is translucent. Its color is translucent. So for the stroke, I'm going to give it a black fill. My stroke turns black. I want it to be bigger, so let's give it 0.5. Let's pull down the stroke options. I want it to be outside of my line. Oh, that didn't look nice. That looks a little better. And the beautiful thing about this stuff is, if you don't like it, you can experiment and make it your own. So that looks okay. I'm going to drop in that point size a little bit. I really want, there we go. Stroke to the inside. These are your stroking options. If you ever trying to figure out why your stroke can't go this way or that way, experiment. Put it on the inside, put it on the outside, put it right in the middle of the center of the line. Change your caps. For this one, yeah, everything here is set the way I need it to be. I'm going to start bumping it up. So click off of it. That looks pretty good. Alright, so back in my appearance, I'm going to go back to my fill. I'm going to make the opacity about, let's make it 50%. And then I'm going to go back to my layers. I'm going to turn my layer back on, and lo and behold, it's starting to look like Geekmans' item. So let's do this. I'll bring that over here. Make that a little bit bigger. And you'll notice over here the opacity on the fill is separate from the opacity of the stroke. And then you have an overall opacity as well. So next thing we're going to do the text. Hopefully I have the text loaded. The text is called Obelix Pro. I don't have it loaded. Let's load it up real quick. I have this little program here. Ooh, pardon me. Font sorting program called main type. Let me load it up real quick. Obelix Pro. I'm just going to load it in the background. And it takes about a second or two. Obelix Pro regular, because that's what Mr. Geekman uses. That's what we'll use today. I'm going to start another layer. I'm going to put text. So here's the trick that everybody likes, is that people like, and I'll lock that star too, people like when you have your stuff editable. So alright, so here's my text. Look out, zombies! So let's look at Geekman's final effect. He has a gradient, he has some weird stroking going on. A white outline and a black stroke. So we're going to do this with a series of strokes. First thing I want to do is I'm going to arc that just a hair. It didn't do it. Why didn't it do it? That's strange. Oh, it's thinking. Oh no, my options are over here on the other screen for a change. Ha ha ha. Do a preview. It's a little too much. Just very subtle. Subtle is good. 10% is more than enough. So here comes the fun part. I'm going to make this a little bigger. Look out, zombies! So, we're going to my appearance. Here's my characters, my type. So first thing I want to do is I want to add a fill. And he has, I'm going to use this default fill here. And I would like for that fill to go from top to bottom. Where gradients, linear, so it's going to be 90. And I'm going to squish these down, get a little bit more of that red in, all the way down. There we go, that's pretty good. Good enough for government work, as people in the government used to say. Okay, then over here I'm going to give it a series of strokes. And each stroke will have different properties that will get the effect we're looking for. So we're going to work, I guess we'll work from the top on our way back. So the first stroke is, if it'll come up, why doesn't it come up? What did I miss? Oh, that's interesting. Don't want that. Let me move all these to the screen I'm working on. So here's my stroke. I'm going to give it a 2-point stroke. And then I'm going to go over to my brushes. I'm going to give it the chalky. There's a bunch of default art and ink brushes. That looks like it. I'm going to make it a little thinner. One point, I'm going to make it a half point because we really don't need a lot there. Okay, and then, so that's my first stroke. That's that weird little stroke there. And then he has a series of strokes after that. So I'm going to take the stroke here, I'm going to drag it down over here. And then I got two strokes. I'm going to take this stroke, and it goes, I believe it goes from top to bottom. So if I say, give this a plain white stroke, right there, 15, and I want to make the color white, Okay, so it's the other way around. It's building backwards, so I'm going to drag this back up here. That's even worse. Ugh. Alright, let's do this one more time. We're done with this stroke. 15-point round. I don't think it needs to be 15 points. Make it 1 point. Make it a 5-point round. That's a little better. Okay. Like I said, I'm looking for similar, not the same. Not the same. 2, 3, 2. Ooh, 2 is good. There we go. And I want my fill to be on top. There's the effect we're looking for. So it is top down. Okay, so now that I have my white stroke behind that one, I'll put a stroke down below that one. And that one's going to have 5-point oval. You can change the shape of that, but first I just want to get it set up. Make it black. And make it bigger. So stuck at 2-point because I'm copying everything from the layer below. It's at 6-point. It's at 7-point. It's at 8-point. 8-point looks okay, but we want to get closer to what he's done, which is top down. So we're going to take over here. We're going to go to the brush, select that brush, and we're going to change the angle around a little bit. And we're going to get a preview up too. So what happens if we do a zero angle, or close to a 0 angle? And oh my, that's wrong. That's fixed. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna put that down there, and my roundness up there, and my size down there, and there is, because I don't want to overwrite my stuff. So let's figure out. I want to go insert the center, round join, bevel join. I'm going to do a round join. I'm going to do a rounded caps. That will help all that roundness. Now it's just a matter of getting it to go where I need it to go, which is down. So let's see. Variation, no variations. No. I don't really want to random, but and I'm just experimenting at this point. That looks okay. Not really what I was looking for. Do a tilt. Tilt might be the effect I'm looking for. Not by much. That's the thing, is if you don't like it, keep trying. Whee. I'm kind of digging that. But it's really not what I'm looking for as far as a drop. So let's try something else to get that effect. Okay, so that is a stroke. I'm going to take that stroke away. I'm going to throw it in the trash. Goodbye, stroke. I'll make another fill. And put it all the way in the bottom. All the way in the bottom. Make it black. Take then. Make me move it. It might have to be a stroke, or it could be effect. I could put an effect on it. Let's put an effect on it. Alright, you got me. I didn't really want to use an effect because I wanted it all raster. However, at the same time, sometimes you gotta make some oh, that looks horrible. I hate drop shadows on general principle. There we go. It is a drop shadow. I'm going to drop that up just a little bit up there. Make the opacity 0.2 is pretty good. My mode is normal. Now, look out, zombies! Okay, I think we're about done. For the most part. So if I want to say, look out, puppies. There you have it. It is totally editable text. Similar, not the same. I didn't say it would be the same. I always said it would be similar. Similar effects to Mr. Geekman's tutorial, done in Illustrator. And if it wasn't live, and if I actually took my time, I can get that background a little better. But for the most part, this will suffice. This is pretty cool stuff. Hope you liked my little live tutorial. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below. And next time, we'll do something a little different. This is Paul for Bacon Logic Media. You guys have a good day.